Testing. One, two, three. Oh, hi there. Let's talk horror. Actually, more specifically, let's talk about the Oscars. Yes, it is Oscar season, otherwise known as the one season where the movie that you like did not win. Now, I have long labored under the opinion that the Oscars are, in fact, and probably always have been, rigged, or at least severely biased in some way, shape, or form. I could literally spend this entire video talking about movies that I thought should have won the big prizes, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the most underrated genre in the academies, horror. That's right, of course, horror, because that's why you're watching this video, right? More than comedy, more than any foreign international film, more than every weird art house movie with a creepy little deformed bird baby crying in the background. Horror always gets overlooked, which when you really think about that is kind of insane. And I realize to a lot of people who lean towards the normie side of existence that statement is probably the insane thing. But if you're a non-believer in the beauty of a good horror film, allow me to enlighten you. I think that the idea of horror movies having things like beautiful cinematography and well written plot lines and good acting goes over a lot of people's heads because when they think of horror, they think of slasher movies like Freddy and Jason or demonic possession films like The Exorcist. And yes, for those of you in the know, I realize the irony in that, but stay with me for a second, okay? The thing is, people have always been turned off by horror from the beginning, which is crazy because a lot of the things that we like in other movies, like special effects, makeup effects, certain cinematography tricks, a lot of that originated and were invented in horror movies. But you know, if I had to labor a guess as to why that is, it probably has something to do with the gore in horror movies. And you know, since we're not all dead inside, we can most certainly not expect everyone to see through the wall of gore to find that which is Oscar winning material. But honestly, I would implore more people to at least try. I know, I realize what I'm saying, but let me put it to you this way. Once upon a time in a film class in college, I was made to watch the movie Birth of a Nation. I was made to watch it because D.W. Griffith basically invented half of the stuff that they do in films even today. I mean, you know, never mind the fact that it was so racist that the NAACP protested it all over the country in 1915. And listen, I need you to appreciate that for a second. Do you have any idea how racist a movie would have had to have been in 1915 for black people all over this country to have protested it? 1915, that's less than 50 years from when slavery ended. And I can guarantee you that in 1915, my people were called the N-word just like it was our name on a Tuesday in like broad daylight. And oh, by the way, I had to do a paper on this movie, and the instructor implored us not to speak on the racism. Look, I'm just saying that if I can sit through a movie that was so racist that black people protested it 39 years from the civil rights movement and I didn't gouge my eyes out, it is possible that you could survive a horror movie. But look, if you're still not convinced, allow me to give you some examples of horror movies that should have walked away with more than just a bullshit technical Oscar. I'm sorry, I don't mean to call technical Oscars bullshit. People worked very hard to get them. I'm just saying that when you take a movie like 1981's The Thing with monster effects that are nightmare fuel in 2025 and didn't even get within a sniffing distance of an Academy Award, you might want to flip some tables about it. But all of that being said, here's a short list of movies that should have gotten their due. And Before I really get into this, if you've been watching these videos, then you know that I did a whole thing on Nosferatu. And yes, I do believe that it should be nominated for more Oscars, including Best Picture. But to be fair, this year, the filmmakers came to play. I even if it had been nominated for Best Picture, I seriously doubt it had a chance in hell of winning. Horror or no horror. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to see it, but bro, it went against Wicked this year. I mean, but okay, horror movies that should have gotten Oscars. Let's go. Okay, so my first pick from the top, 2018's Annihilation. Now, here's a fun fact about Annihilation. That movie won everything, 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 except for an Oscar and a Razzie. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it didn't win a Razzie, and if it did, somebody was smoking something that day. Annihilation received 63 nominations across the board for other types of awards, like the Saturn Award and so forth. Annihilation got 63 nominations and 17 wins from other award shows. And they won from for everything from best picture to best poster. Seriously, there was a best poster category. But please note that not a single one of those wins was from the Academy. And if you have seen Annihilation, like, you don't even have to watch this one to even get what I'm talking about. Go and Google stills from this movie. We are talking masterpieces, okay? Stuff that you could print out, blow up, and put above your mantle. Masterpieces. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous shots. But don't think that this movie is all icing. The cast is like it's an all-star cast. Natalie Portman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Gina Rodriguez, Boeing Yang, Tessa Thompson, Oscar Isaac. I mean, you're gonna spend this whole movie going, oh, I know that guy. Oh, so okay, we got great special effects, great visual effects, fantastic cast. What about the plot? Well, let me tell you, plot is really smart, and it's that kind of smart that's like on the edge of being a little too smart for the audience. Like it's like it's all quantum physics and environmental disasters, and it's brilliant. Basically, there's this team of scientists that are made up by women, scientists and military, I think, that are made up of women, who go into this environmental disaster zone, and they're going in search of this biologist who just so happens to be the main character's husband, and they end up stepping into this quantum space-time thing that takes its victims and turns them into these beautiful disasters. Like, this movie, it's got social commentary, it's got uh great acting, it's all female led cast, mostly female led cast. This is like exactly the kind of movie that the Academy looks for, and yet it was snubbed the year it came out. Now, I am aware that in the specific case of Annihilation, there was a dispute with the director and the producer as far as how they wanted things to go, and that ended up resulting in the movie going straight to Netflix. But I do not think that is an excuse at all. Like, I've heard of movies that were straight to Netflix that ended up winning Oscars. So, what? The people at the Academy never heard of a movie that was nominated 63 times in a bunch of different other awards? Yeah, because that's a thing. Anyway, moving on. The second movie I would put out there is Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope. Hear me out. Like, I already hear typing in the comments. Just hang with me here, okay? So, like, Jordan Peele already got his Oscar for Get Out. He got best screenplay, I believe, that year. And I mean, I'll give credit where credit is due. The Academy did get that one kind of right there. I still feel like Get Out should have won Best Picture, but that's neither here nor there at this point. And really, I'm not that pressed about it because the one that did win that year was Moonlight, which is a phenomenal freaking movie. But anyway, but Nope. And I know that this one went over the heads of a lot of horror fans when they watched it, but it's really a magnificent freaking movie. I can't even, I, like, I see the point of a lot of horror fans, but at the same time, it was a glorious film. It was just great. If we're talking solely on like cinematography, come on, the visuals were visualing. I mean, I the not even just the wide expanse of the Montana and the mountains and the clouds and stuff. The night scenes with Jean Jacket, for example, were so well lit and so gorgeous. And then the scene where the monster takes its final form. I remember being in the theater with my mouth like. And as far as acting, look, if you didn't think that Daniel Kaluuya and Kiki Palmer killed it, I don't I don't know if you know what good acting is. I'm sorry. I don't mean to put it like that. I don't I don't know, man. And really, the best part about Nope is that it is a love letter to the genre in every way possible. The kaiju creature feature type of horror that we all like, it's like a straight up love letter to that. So many influences that Peele put in this movie, from westerns to kaiju to 80s pop culture to anime. He basically took all of these things that he has loved and admired and have influenced his work and combined them in this beautiful, rich movie. This beautiful, cohesive, and frankly terrifying movie about a horse eating cloud monster. I don't care what none of y'all say. That's skill. And the crazy thing about it is that it didn't even get a single nomination. Like, it was basically snubbed at the Oscars that year. And okay, so now my third choice for this list is a controversial one. But I don't care. This is a hill that I will die on. And I need you to understand how important it is that you know how important I think it is. I don't like remakes as a rule. I've seen some great remakes, but a lot of the times remakes are just karaoke versions of the original. Or they're just totally different movies that just slap the name of the original on it. Either way, I'm not a fan of remakes. But this movie, I would definitely put on this list. 2013's Evil Dead remake. Stay with me here, and you can argue if you want to. I don't care. I do not care. 2013's Evil Dead remake should have gotten something. The 2013 Evil Dead remake was a solid movie, horror or otherwise, and I will fight you in a White Castle parking lot over that. And here's the thing, there's no denying that this one was snubbed because it was horror, okay? I mean, it is terrifying. It's extremely bloody. And it is really, 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 really intense. Like, the. Once things start rolling in this movie, it doesn't even give you more than 2 seconds to breathe before the next horrifying thing is thrown in your face. But the thing that I think that it had that makes it Oscar worthy had to do with the actual plot. So, okay, in case you forgot what the actual plot of the remake was, it dealt with a bunch of friends helping their friend to detox from drugs. And they do so by taking her out to a cabin in the middle of nowhere, no cell service or anything, to where she could access it when she's going through detox. Basically, trying to get her to stay away from her triggers and overcome her addiction. Now, because of that, the movie is basically an allegory of not only overcoming the demons of your addiction, but also the demons of familial dysfunction and even dysfunction within friendships. It really is this whole thing about surviving the things that plague us from within as well as without. And I don't like, isn't that what Oscar movies do? You know, I'm just saying, it's a well plotted out message. And most Oscar films have well plotted out messages like that. It's really actually a very good movie in that way. And it's a shame that the Oscars, don't go for that sort of thing. I swear. You do that in other movies. But the second You rain buckets of blood down on a movie set, no Oscars for you. Boo! I just find it really interesting that in 2025 the Oscars seem to be in the dark about all of these great movies that have come out in horror. Well, since the genre began. And you want to hear something else? Um, when I was doing research for this video, I stumbled upon an interesting fact. Did you know that it has been 34 years since a horror movie won Best Picture? 34 years. That's 3 decades, almost 3.5 decades. Think about that for a second. Think about how many horror movies have come out and have been successful enough to get some kind of recognition since 1991. I mean, it really got me to thinking that whoever decides these things, they have to have they should have at least one or two people that actually watches and enjoys horror movies the way that I watch and enjoy horror movies. Somebody that can actually see through the wall of gore to see the value in them. Now, I would volunteer for that job, but some of the movies that I also think would qualify for an Oscar award winning film are also below the waterline of the iceberg list. Not all of them, of course, but there are a few that for all of the horrifying things that I've had to witness were actually pretty brilliant in every other respect. Yeah, but until that day, I guess congratulations to Wicked for sweeping the Oscars. So that's it for this week's video essay. Please share your thoughts, concerns, favorite colors in my comments. I do enjoy reading them. And of course, as always, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I post these every other week, so look out for them. In the meantime, see you later. Bye.